It's going to cost more than the original
ticket. The price tag on that ticket made me go, do you really need to go?
And I questioned whether or not I wanted to go as well. Process we go through when we're trying to figure out if we're going to make money, if we're going to spend money, right?
The other part of it is that the whole fear of missing out, the FOMO.
Yeah. And then I'm going to miss out. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to miss out on this myself. So, and then mommy comes into play. Would I be wrong to go? And my daughter, who is a senior at the school, couldn't go. So
it's a good parent moment.
Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young. And we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it.
Hey, babe, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I mean, I'm doing well, but as you can tell, my voice is a little off.
Yeah, honey, you got the morning voice, the morning sexy. I'll say the morning sexy voice.
Right. And for those of you who aren't aware, you can see that Ericka is donning her IU gear.
What?
So, and we thought this was a perfect time. As you'll notice, we're not in the studio, but we are on site.
Yes.
Or let's say off site in Miami, off the heels of the national championship football game where the Indiana Hoosiers beat the Miami Hurricanes.
Woo-woo. The historic moment in football, college football history, and we are thrilled to be, recording from here. And so we had an idea about what to chat about today, and we just wanted to, in our excitement, do so. So forgive my honey's voice.
Yes.
This time.
I was yelling at the top of my lungs.
So if you don't know, the reason he was yelling is because IU won. Woo!
Yes. And we're here at the game because our daughter is a senior. And you know when you have friends that become family, I call them family.
Yes.
You know, we have some of those friends that are like family now, and their son, who we just call him our nephew now, he is on the team. And so we were all here to support him. But this was such a great time to do a podcast because anyone who was paying attention saw that the tickets to the game were ridiculous.
Astronomical. When you showed them to me the very first time, the one thing that I saw was 7,500. Like I saw some other numbers, right?
Yes.
But I clued in on like average seats that were ridiculous. Yeah.
And I know it's a historic moment because it's the first time Indiana has ever gone to the national title, and they've been one of the losingest programs in the history of college sports to now having won the highest recognition.
16-0.
Right, record-setting 16-0 season.
Yes.
But it's pretty easy to get caught up in peer pressure.
And that's what happened, honestly. I have to be very frank and say, no, first of all, you were going to be here. You were always coming to Miami for work.
I had a reason to be in Miami. And so I already decided, if they make it, I'm going to the game because I'll have to be here. It required minimal shifting for me to be here.
Mm-hmm. So you always said, look, nephew, give me a ticket.
Right. If you make it, I'm coming.
Yes. And so you were always going to do that. Now, anyone else in this family who wanted to tag along?
They were not planning to be in Miami. It changed the course of things.
Well, okay. And let's be a little more explicit with that. You being here already meant that somebody was paying for your plane ticket, which was the company.
Right.
Somebody was paying for your hotel, which was the company.
Well, not necessarily, because it was after the game.
Sure, but that was the idea in the beginning.
Yes.
In terms of timing. You might extend the trip, but it wasn't going to cost you as much as if you weren't here.
I think that's the general idea, is that our initial outlay or expense would be lower. Considering someone who just wanted to come, like we talked to people, they had to get airfare relatively last minute. They had to get hotels. You had a couple weeks, but if you do anything less than, 2 weeks, that's last minute.
Yeah.
So you got last minute airfare, last minute hotel, and the tickets to the game and food and all that stuff. And when you add all that up, that cost could be pretty significant. And so my cost, I had figured it out. I would have been like $500 in total.
And that is ticket.
Adjusting my ticket, getting my airfare ticket, getting a ticket to the game, as well as a hotel.
Yeah.
Which, fortunately, I use points and free stays because, this is a podcast about money and relationships. And we like to maneuver and take advantage of different ways to save money.
Right. And you travel enough where you have points accumulated, and at any given time, we can utilize those points and we don't have to pay for a trip or travel,
it's a major
whatever.
benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a benefit. And so then my friend called a day after we knew you had a ticket and said, hey, we got another ticket. Do you want this ticket? And it's going to cost more than the original ticket.
The price tag on that ticket made me go, do you really need to go?
And I questioned whether or not I wanted to go as well. And here's where peer pressure comes into play, because some other friends of ours were going to the game. They had already.
Now, they are IU grads.
Yes.
And so they've been on this road for a long time.
Yes, everybody has their reason. Okay,
Yes.
so yes, they're IU grads. They also have a son who's an IU grad. But we also have our reasons because, yes, we have our little nephew, but we also have a daughter who is a current senior at the school. That makes it exciting, There's
a lot of ways to justify. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I will say, yes, I will find my ways to justify, but they're real. And this is the thought process we go through when we're trying to figure out if we're going to make money, if we're going to spend money, right? That's a part of it. It's a part of it.
The other part of it is that the whole fear of missing out, the FOMO, is like, well, hold on now. It was okay when he was going, but now this person's going.
Wait. Yeah, we were looking at the people going.
Right. Who else is going? This person's going. That person's going. Wait. It's like 10 people going.
And then I'm going to miss out. And I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to miss out on this myself. So, and then mommy comes into play. So I'm thinking, hold on a second. Would I be wrong to go? And my daughter, who is a senior at the school, couldn't go. So
it's a good parent moment.
It was. And so I called her instead of before I said yes to the ticket or you decided to spend the money. Because for me, it would be a plane ticket plus the ticket. I wouldn't have to worry about the hotel because I'm staying with you, right? So it was a savings, but not really. Let's be honest, right? Because my ticket was more expensive than yours.
Oh my God, yes.
So then I call my daughter and say, hey girl, so I just need to, we here's what's going on. This is all the people who going. And they have another ticket and I could go, but I don't want to say yes.
We don't want to take this opportunity away from you.
Unless you say, okay, I want to go. If you say you want to go, I'm going to let you go. And she couldn't decipher what to do because on the one hand, being with her friends would have been super fun on campus. And then on the other hand, being in the room where it happens is the other thing. And so she was torn. And it was a whole big thing trying to figure out what to do and not be emotionally attached so much, right?
But I think that's why peer pressure can cause you to do different things because you'll find a ton of reasons to rationalize why it makes sense. Like, you're a senior. This is a once in a lifetime. You should go. And we should spend a couple $1,000 like just to make it happen. And it's like, well, wait a minute, should we really? And I remember when our friend called and said they had the ticket, and I was like, you know what, just forget it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
I told you all, I'm in the YOLO phase of life. And so I was like, let's just do it. We'll figure it out later. And we decided initially that you and I were going to go after we talked to her, and she was going to be with her friends, and her boyfriend actually got a ticket.
A student ticket.
He was going to go, and I think she was really frustrated a bit because she had the opportunity to get a student ticket and let that window close. And I think she's like, man, I could have got a ticket
for a cheaper price than what we were paying for the parent section.
Right. It's like, I didn't get it. And, you know, all your friends are going. So why would I go and not have you two go? And so here we are. We're set to come and we're excited. And our friend calls us again and says, hey, I can get another ticket for a price. I'm not naming the prices, but I'm going to tell you, these tickets were ranging, not our tickets, thank the Lord. But on the open market, those tickets were at minimum $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a ticket.
Yeah.
Now I have to tell you all and be transparent. We didn't pay anything near that.
Not even for all 3 tickets.
Right.
Yes.
But our friend called us back and they were able to get another ticket, which I was like, oh, all 3 of us can go? Oh no, make it happen. We'll take it.
Oh, and then on top of that, our daughter was able to you were able to use your airline miles
Yes.
to get her one leg of the flight, and all she ended up paying for was her second leg back home. So she actually was able to go pretty inexpensively overall.
Now, I think peer pressure in this case, it did cost us something.
Yes.
It was a situation where we spent probably a few $1,000s that we weren't planning on spending. And it's interesting how peer pressure or the fear of missing out can cause you to make different decisions. Now I have to caveat this whole thing because though we made a decision, we did not go into debt. We didn't do anything that we would regret having made these decisions. And I think that's the one difference that would be my caveat. Don't allow peer pressure to cause you to do something that would uncharacteristically get you out in them streets.
Well, and that's the other thing I think too. Some people make long-term decisions based on peer pressure. So buying a vehicle,
yes,
buying a house, those kinds of things, or living even in a certain area where maintenance is more, expected of you, or going to a certain university or sending your kid to a certain university. There's a lot of
certain schools,
long-term decisions that are made based on peer pressure. This one, like you said, not that we're going to act like a few $1,000s is not a lot of money, but it wasn't a long-term, it's not going to change the course of the overall next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It was something that we could reasonably do with the funds that we had, and it wasn't going to cause us angst or stress financially.
Yeah. And I think as people watch this or listen to this, life is short, and I do embrace the concept of living in the moment, but you do have to temper living in the moment with throwing caution to the wind.
Yes.
Because sometimes you may say, I want to live in the moment, but caution to the wind, I'm going to do everything. Then you wake up and you get a credit card bill and there's $30,000, $40,000 in credit card debt on there. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of this trip, the balance will be zero. And that's the thing that I really hope people will lean into living life, but you still have to say no until your journey takes you to a different place in your journey where you can make some of these decisions and enjoy some of these things that may come up. Because looking back, clearly, if my voice is any indication of the amount of fun that I had, right now I have, what that commercial say, I have no regrets.
No regrets, none at all. So the filter that I run some of this stuff through is, and I mentioned it, you say this all the time, is it going to change the course of life? And a $500, $600 or $700 per month payment on a car will change the course of life.
Yes.
or the type of university that is $100,000 or $200,000 would change the course of life. Be it positive or negative. Like, you have to think about that, but is it going to affect your finances in a positive or negative light?
I'm sorry, you finished.
And one more, like, will it change the course of life? And then the second part is, will I regret not doing it 5 years down the line? Will I look back and say, oh, I wish I had. Oh, I wish I had.
Yes.
Right? Versus, oh, goodness, you know what? No big deal. Like, I don't care whether I did. So those are a couple of the filters that you might want to think about, because you want to look at your finances in a very grounded way, if possible, even in making some impulse decisions like we just did.
Well, I remember specifically, we were talking to someone we met at the fan zone, the fan experience, and they came all the way from Indiana to Miami, and they didn't have tickets, but they were still checking sources to get tickets, and they were ready to pull the trigger on tickets. And she said to me, yeah, these tickets are probably going to cost me a mortgage payment. I was like, whoa, a whole mortgage payment for one ticket. And there were two of them. So that's two potential mortgage payments worth of tickets that they were willing to sacrifice. And now when you talk about long-term things changing the course of life, you miss two mortgage payments, that can start a cascade of events. That's not something that you want to put yourself in position to be doing. So when I said that, it just stuck with me. Like, I was like, wow, people are paying mortgage payments.
Yeah.
And they were showing, I was seeing videos and different things, and someone said they paid $5,900 or $3,500 or $4,300 or this or that. And I was like, man, I understand being part of history, but is that really the right thing to do? Even though here we are in the midst of it as well.
And I will also say that our friend whose son plays for the team, she said that she's on a lot of different chats and stuff on Facebook and different places. And there's a lot of fans who were upset that they were sort of financially shut out of it. Yeah. Because the IU fans are serious business. They're going to go travel. And every time that they have traveled, they have really had a big part of the audience. And so when these normal fans can't access the prices and are having to make choices to not attend, some people are making the choice to say this isn't going to be worth it financially long term. But now that we have come,
look,
was it worth it, baby?
I'm sitting here looking at South Beach and considering that it is like 14 degrees at home. I'm feeling pretty good about the decision that we made.
Well, okay, yes, to Miami. You was always gonna come to Miami.
Well, I know.
To the game, baby. So now I'm sure hindsight could be, it's.
The game was awesome.
The game was awesome.
Being a sports fan, this is the highest level, and to just be part of this historic run, yes, it was definitely worth it. But I have to say, I was running the numbers and I was like, $61 for the hotel, winning.
Yep.
Then I, looked at the ticket costs. I was like, okay, that's a lot less than most people pay for one ticket.
It is.
Okay, winning. Mm-hmm. It was like, I spent a little bit of money on food. I was like, but you got to eat regardless.
And then I had my plane ticket.
Right. So that was, the extra. But then we got our daughter here you just got to get creative because and I didn't even think of it initially until we realized her boyfriend was coming and they could fly together. And I said, how did you do your ticket? And he'd used a combination of points on one airline and purchased on a different airline. And you sometimes have to be creative to do some of these other things that you want to do because they say, if there's a will, there's a way. Mm-hmm. So I think it was definitely worth it.
I think I had a fantastic experience. And my ticket that I chose, I won't get into all the background details, but the ticket that I got was higher up than the players' tickets that were in the 100 level. So I'm in the 300 level. and they're in the 100 level. So I'm by myself during the game itself. We did some other things where we were with players and the fan fest and all the stuff.
Now, why you had to tell people that? They don't think like, oh, you made her sit by herself?
No. I made the choice.
Well,
I made the choice.
That's why I want to make it clear so people are not looking at me.
No.
Like, well, you made her sit by herself?
No, you know what?
That's because, you and our daughter went to the Big Ten championship. And
well, no, that's not why.
Can I finish?
Okay.
I stayed at home because I relented my ticket. And now it was just an opportunity for us, she and I, to have an experience as well.
I gave up the opportunity to sit with everybody else because I don't think she would have wanted to be by herself.
Right.
Or with, other folks that she didn't know. Yeah. And so that's why I said it would be better for her to have that experience. It had nothing to do with me. It mostly had to do with our daughter.
Okay.
But I love you though.
It's all good.
No, what you mean? But listen, so anyway, so I'm up here in the rafters, like 300 level, and it was amazing.
Those aren't really rafter seats. We've been in rafter seats that were terrible. Those seats were good.
These were great seats because the vantage point was amazing. Here's what I'm getting at is you have always been that football fan, and I watch it with you. And if we're at home, I rarely watch 4 quarters. Like I will watch 2.
You reach your threshold.
I will definitely watch 2. Give me a halftime. We'll see about 3 and 4. Okay. So, but this time I honestly was able to like focus on the game, and I knew what was writing on this game. Yeah. And I was invested in some of the players, and I understood, today I understand the game much better than I did 5 years ago. College ball, the stakes are so much bigger than the NFL. There was just so much about it. And then just the history of the university.
It was just great.
It was just so much about it. And I was really into it. And so I feel like in that moment, I really became a fan of football. Like I'm a fan of Indiana University football team. I'm a fan of supporting our little nephew. I'm a fan of making sure our daughter has the best experience. I'm a fan of all of the things. But I feel like in that moment, I had this aha, like I totally get why people are such football fans, irregardless of what we got to experience.
And it's been awesome just walking around Miami and walking around South Beach. And there are Indiana fans everywhere.
The actual stadium was 67% Indiana.
Yes. And I felt like it was even more than that. I felt it was at least, 67%, 2/3.
It was
same
amazing. And like the fandom is very strong, but it was also the story and all the things behind it. But I
see a movie coming from this in the
I
future.
know. And so anyway.
Signetti story.
The Signetti effect.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was just super cool to know that we could have that moment. And so, I said this to someone, this is why, like, we wanted to be debt free and to have a game plan and to stick with the budget and to have an emergency fund and to ensure our future is secure.
It gives you this opportunity to do things that come up like this because you can make some impromptu decisions that, as we like to say, won't change the course of life.
And add no stress. So, I don't know. Anyway, such a good time. So worth it. And I will say, okay, I guess I want to ask at the very end of this, if we didn't win, would it have still been worth it to be present?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to know how to win and lose.
Yeah.
It just happened that they were the better team and they won and they worked it out. But, you got to be gracious in victory and gracious in defeat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made any different decisions. But what I will say, as a make it worth it, is that, if you're going to make a decision to do something that is outside of, norms or, it's exceptional, don't do anything that's going to cause you additional stress. Don't do anything that's going to put you in a situation where you're going backwards versus making progress. Don't do anything that's going to be detrimental to you. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to miss 2 mortgage payments. Not saying that couple was going to miss 2 mortgage payments, but tickets, the cost of a mortgage payment, you really need to count the cost with that and see if it's worth making that decision. Mm-hmm. And so my make it worth it is, they say, don't throw good money after bad.
Yeah.
But what would you say is your make it worth it?
My make it worth it is know what your filter is. When you're making decisions around your finances, figure out what your filter is. One of them could be, are you and your spouse on the same page? Another one could be, is this a once in a lifetime moment? Another one could be, how much cash do I have on hand? Another one could be, is this the right time? You know what I mean? Is there another time where this could happen? And like with vacations, you can put certain things off, but maybe a family member, being ill, and this is something you really want to go see them or whatever. Maybe that's worth it enough, right? So maybe think about what your filters are when you're making those decisions, and don't just randomly make the decision. Ensure that you are, staying on target with whatever your values are. I think that's important.
Well, I don't have any regrets, and it was an awesome experience. And hopefully on the next podcast, when you hear my voice, it will be back to normal, because I have to probably stop talking for a little bit.
I like it. I like the raspy.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
But I want you to fix it. I want you to be better. I want you to be better. But I think it's
right.
I think that's that morning groggy.
I was trying to go who's yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little painful right now. So, but I can do it for you, babe. Yes.
I can do it for you, babe.
Well, hey, signing off from Miami and South Beach, and until next time,
we're out.
Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on ForBetterAndWorth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.